Well, we took on the intro to Family Guy, all homemade, all live action, so here's how we did it. Alright, so taking on this Family Guy intro was a much bigger production than we usually do on homemade movies, so we brought in some extra help. We had Ethan come on as producer, and he helped organize this whole thing. We brought on Sean, who is a great director. He's worked on a bunch of great stuff, including The Guild, so he was awesome to come on and help wrangle all of this together. Ben, who usually does all the props and the art for homemade movies, really took a lead on getting all the stuff prepped. It was tons of big preps for this and lots of builds. Chelsea was awesome to come on. We've never worked with her before, but she's a great help in the art department, and she made a lot of this stuff with Ben. And they brought on our friend Hari, who has helped us with costumes before. She's been in a lot of our episodes too. It was quite a production, so like I said, much bigger than we normally do on homemade movies, but couldn't have done it without these guys, and it was definitely a huge team effort, and everyone just did so awesome on this.
We got a really enthusiastic crew today.
You know who's been rocking it? Art department rocks.
One thing to keep in mind too is that we're not only doing a live action version of an animated TV intro, but we're doing it all in camera with no special effects. That means no green screen or adding anything in post. It's all got to be done in camera. That's just how we do it here on Homemade Movies. Alright, so casting was first up, and we tapped some of our YouTube friends who have been in some other homemade movies. We had Brock Baker, who was in our Dark Knight Rises scene. He played Bane. This time he got to play the lead of Peter Griffin because he does a great Peter voice.
Boss, you're not even playing anything. This is cardboard, you crazy broad.
We had Mikey Bolts. He was in our 1989 Batman scene, and he does a great impression of Stewie, so we figured he could play our live action Stewie.
Rocket Man, just burning all the fuse and whatever.
And then we had Colleen Ballinger. This is her first time on homemade movies, and she was awesome. She played Meg. And then we had a comedian, Tilt Tyree, come in and play Chris. He's a super funny guy, and with that blonde wig and the outfit, he totally nailed the Chris character. And then to round out the main cast, we have Christine Lakin playing the part of Lois. Now, Christine, as many Family Guy fans may know, actually plays Joyce Kinney on Family Guy. She actually does a voice for her character. So this time she's playing the live action version of Lois. Not only is she a great actress and singer, but she's a choreographer. So she helps choreograph all this stuff because we had lots of dancers and a lot of moves to get down.
And this just keeps spinning and your legs just keep going.
That rounds out our main cast.
It's my big brother Chris. Look at Stewie, he's grown so much.
And then we had a lot of backup dancers, which were all just kind of friends of ours and friends of the production who were great sports to just come in kind of at the last minute and put these ridiculous outfits on and learn these dance moves.
Lucky there's a Family Guy. Kick, kick.
So you guys were awesome for playing along with us.
We are the dancers.
I'm gonna stuff this up your shirt.
Okay.
The three of them really tackled all the costumes.
Chelsea saves the day again.
We've got the normal outfits that the family wears at the beginning. That's all pretty basic, just matching the colors and adding a little tape or things here and there.
They're leaving like black marks on my face, which is kind
Yeah,
of
those don't
cute.
come out.
Then we've got their yellow outfits. They tear the first outfits off and kind of reveal these yellow tuxedos and things, yellow top hats, and so it's just a lot of spray paint and buying like vests and things that kind of match and have that look. And then for the background dancers, the guys are in white tuxedos, so they just use these white paint suits. We used those same paint suits when we did the Ghostbusters scene, when we spray painted them tan colored, but this time we got to leave them white and kind of make like the little vests and little shapes and everything.
Whoa, we got two fancy guys up in the house.
And then the girls have these kind of pink numbers on. We really didn't know exactly how this was gonna fit onto the actresses, so Hari was a genius at figuring this out because it really was just a giant piece of pink fabric, and she just knew that she'd be able to figure it out on the day once they were there, how it was gonna drape onto each individual person. Worked out beautifully. Good job, Hari. And then they made these headpieces too, so you've got these feathers sticking up, and all those dancers wore the headpieces.
How do you feel, Kristen?
I feel homemade.
Finding a location that was suitable was a big challenge too. So we found just, we went to like a sound stage and it was just blank, white walls everywhere, and just set everything up from the ground up. Getting a lot of red sheets and blue sheets and teal sheets and then a purple carpet. We really had a blank canvas so we could make whatever we wanted. So we knew that in this empty space we were gonna just set up these risers because we needed to get the staircase going up for all the dancers. This thing goes up, 10 or 15 feet, and we just kind of built it up, and then we could just use stands to kind of just set all the sheets up. So along the sides we've got the red curtains, just getting as much height as we can so we can fill in the whole frame with color and put our dancers on the stage. So the opening shot of the piano, we decided to do as a miniature. Nothing else is a miniature in this, it's all live action. Ben and Chelsea built the little piano with the rug and the room and just made that on a small scale.
No doorknob.
so that they could shoot that shot individually. The camera kind of whips around, and then we're gonna just do like a match cut into our live action that we shot on the stage. It goes from miniature to full size, all with one kind of swoop. So when the camera settles then, before Lois gets into frame, you get a good view of the living room. Now this is all made mostly 2D, but it's a big giant sheet. This thing is 15 feet wide, 10 feet high. Ben and Chelsea used house paint, they used spray paint, Sharpies, and then out of cardboard they made a little stereo with the plant, and the lamp and everything, and that was kind of separate and detachable, as well as the family portraits, which Chelsea drew out these awesome portraits on construction paper, just with crayons, and those portraits are on the wall. Right there. Right there. And the reason it's all on a sheet like that instead of like something solid or cardboard is because we're gonna end up dropping it to reveal all the dancers and stuff behind.
I do this, and I go to grab my hat, turn my face like, no!
We're getting ready to do the big shot with everybody. That's a sheet that's gonna drop to reveal all of our dancers. So we got the main family in front, and then behind the room is all the dancers. So we've got two guys up on ladders holding it tight, and then at the right moment, they drop it. We were actually worried that it might fall and kind of bunch up too much or land on the stage or hit some of the dancers, especially with the big cardboard stereo. So that doesn't really fall down the same way that the sheet does. So I put little handles on the back with some tape, and then Chelsea is actually just hiding back there. So then as soon as they drop that thing, she just carries it off. So that way now everything's cleared. We're not in the living room anymore, we see our big stage. And then to fill in the rest of the dancers, since we didn't want to get that many people and we wanted to stick to making it homemade, if you look closely, you'll notice that there are a bunch of brooms standing in for the other female dancers. So there's 18 brooms here. Ben and Chelsea made these. They got them at the 99-cent store. Instead of making the headdresses, they just kind of used the top of the broom and painted it. Got these little girl dresses and kind of cut those up and put those on there with another little rag. They're attached on these 2x4s along the bottom that run off the risers to the side. So Hari is moving all the brooms around. In this big shot of the stage, there's also 4 fountains. So instead of doing real fountains with real water, the homemade way was to go with umbrellas. They had a very similar shape. Ben and Chelsea actually came upon some blue umbrellas. Found these amazing blue umbrellas that are just the right color.
At the dollar store.
Yeah, dollar store, there you go. They just put them in some trash cans and painted them blue, and then added some cardboard water droplets hanging down the sides with some fishing string.
Careful, it's bad luck.
There's also a sign that comes in, it's the credits where it says Seth MacFarlane, and it's 2 signs actually, so we just made it back to back. We thought about having someone just hold it in, but they couldn't quite reach far enough. We didn't want to block the dancers too much, so we just stuck it on the end of a PVC and just kind of taped it on at the last minute. So somebody's off camera just holding it, drop it down, bring it out, flip it, drop it down again, and bring it out. So we're getting our 2 credits cards showing that way. Now, we used Mikey Bolts as Stewie, and he was just wearing a football, literally, on his head, because, you know, Stewie has kind of a football head.
Amazing.
And then he sat on his knees most of the time.
This is weird to look down at.
And we just put his shoes where his knees are, so he could kind of scoot in or slide in on a chair. And he kind of like crunched his hands up like that. For one of the shots, Lois is supposed to be holding Stewie, and for that one, instead of using his real body, we actually used a little body for Stewie that was a little stuffed animal. So she's holding kind of like where his head is and holding the little fake body, and then the arms are being puppeteered by Ben from below. That way we can kind of get him in frame there and it looks like he's really tiny.
Here we go.
And then for Brian, we ended up going with just a full-blown puppet for this. So it was a body of a stuffed animal that they sort of tore apart.
This doesn't seem right, Ben.
And added another pillow to. The head was made out of a garbage can, and the snout was just like a plastic container. And then his ears are just some socks. So this is like a full-size Brian dog puppet.
Oh, Brian.
Some of the shots, there's a big PVC pipe that we attached Brian to, and then Ben is kind of operating it from off camera, so he can kind of slide in, because a lot of the shots, people are sliding in and out of frame. So Brian can slide in from the side, and then he can kind of just move it around. For some of the shots, Ben is actually hiding behind it. I mean, you can kind of see it. He's just crunched behind it and full on just puppeting it and moving the arms. So he was on his knees pretty much the whole day doing that. It was hot, he's hiding inside of his hoodie, he's sweating. Ben is awesome at that sort of thing, so he nailed that performance of Brian under all the conditions in the hot studio. So since it is animation that we're matching, animation usually moves a lot snappier and faster than real life. So when they're learning the dance moves, they had to move really, really fast. So what we did for most of the takes is we would kind of play back the scene half speed. So we could kind of just walk through the paces and like, okay, slide in, move here, hat, whatever it was, at a slower pace. And then once you felt like everybody had memorized it correctly, then we switch to the full speed one and everyone just does it full speed. So they're moving their legs really fast in their hats and they're spinning the things and whatever. So trying to match that actual speed.
Everyone's on Quaaludes.
Now on the final shot, we did a couple things that we don't normally do. One was we did end up keeping it half speed. When people need to fly in really fast and kind of zip in and then the camera goes up really fast, that if we actually shoot it slower speed and then play it back faster, that would give it more of a snappy appearance. The other thing that we don't normally do on homemade movies is use the jib. We figured, let's just go for it and get that high angle. Basically, we broke it into two sections. We started really low, and then that way the first people can kind of slide in, and Brian comes in, you know, on the PVC pipe. Hold it! Everyone who already slid in and Brian are just holding really still. Brock goes in there, and then we start. The other two people come in, and then the camera goes up, and then Peter Griffin is supposed to rise up, so it's just Brock kind of like rising up. So that's sort of the homemade version of him rising up from the middle. It wasn't quite as high, you know, of an angle as the animated one, but we're matching it as close as we can. And then we got to see the purple platform that they're standing on, which is this awesome shiny purple wrapping paper. It's 10 feet wide, just made the huge circle and just painted the lights on there, so that's what they're standing on.
It has electrolytes, Lois.
Oh, you don't know what an electrolyte is.
Replenish vital nutrients and energy.
The Family Guy logo at the end is just totally hand painted. I just held the camera right here and then we just dropped it into frame. All right, then for the music, I did my normal homemade treatment, which is to sing the whole thing a cappella using just my voice. There's lots of trumpets and there's some drums. It's a very classy show tune. Lucky there's a Family Guy. Lucky there's a man who positively can do all the things that make us.
We just created a 5-second VO booth in the closet of this stage. I don't know what's going on here.
This is at the end of our long shoot day. We had just finished and they're tearing down the set and everything, and so we made a little makeshift recording studio in the dressing room and just had the guys record it by just listening to it and recording their lines.
It seems today that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV.
But where are those good old-fashioned values?
Laugh and cry.
And I just dropped it into my mix. So we have a completely homemade track for the theme song. So that's how we made our homemade live-action Family Guy intro. Hey, what are you guys watching?
Family Guy?
Lois. Diarrhea.
Yeah, just having a good time here.
It's all over your hands.
Family Guy?
I thought makeup was only for girls.
So we've got the, we got Harry freaking out.
Been wondering who's been spray painting all your walls and buildings? It's this girl.
You can keep them.
I can?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's half the budget right there. But
What a guy.
yeah.
I've always wanted black marks right on my nose,
Yeah,
so
it's-
now I can have them.
Hello, fellas.
Hello, Dustin. Hey, Mort. Yeah.
This is Josh sweeping up with our background actor's head. Everything on homemade movies has multiple uses. Ben at homemade movies has multiple uses.
Just all the homemade movies. Everybody need homemade movies.
He's not very lifelike right now.
Okay, and that's a cut.
All right, a special big thanks to everybody involved with this. You guys were awesome. It was a team effort. Everyone rocked it. Thanks to our YouTubers for joining in. And don't forget, you can check the link below to order the Family Guy Volume 12 DVD, which comes out December 17th. So stay tuned to Snipfix for more homemade movies. We've got lots of cool stuff coming up. See you soon.